Let's discuss Task 2 writing. The first thing to think about and the most important thing in Task 2 is what are you being asked to write about. Now there is a topic and a question. We're going to start by focusing on the second thing, the question. So this isn't the first thing you will read, but it is the most important thing. You need to consider what are you being asked to write about. And then we'll finish this today by having a brief look at how you should structure your essay. So let's have a look at some questions. Now they look similar, but they're not. They're not the same thing. So just have a look at those questions. You've got 4 choices down the bottom. Which 4 letters join with the numbers? So here are the answers. The first one was cause and effect. The second one was cause and solution. So those words, when they ask what can someone do, that is a solution question. How does this affect people and can something be done? So this is now similar to 2, but the difference is here they're asking you to discuss the effects and then the solution. And the fourth one is asking for an effect and opinion. Now that fourth one may come with cause as well. So why is something happening? And do you think this change is a positive or a negative change? They would quite often ask that. Technology would be a good example of that. Why is technology becoming so common? Do you think this is a good or a bad development? So they are the questions you might receive, for some of the questions. Now let's have a look at some more questions. How about here? So you see them immediately grouped in 2 groups of 3 at the top and then 3 down the bottom. What do you think is different between those 2 groups of questions? So the first 3 are a one-sided argument. Now a lot of people don't understand this. This is one of the reasons we've split the topic and the question so we can really focus in on the question here. Do you agree is exactly the same as do you agree or disagree, or to what extent do you agree or disagree? The third one there, maybe you could say partially. But the first 2 certainly are about giving one-sided opinion. And the third one as well. You're completely entitled to give one-sided opinion to that. You can say I completely agree or I completely disagree. Now the next 3, you don't have that choice. You must discuss both points of view in all 3 of these. So the middle one there is the most common one. Discuss both points of view and give your opinion. That's quite a tricky one to answer. You have to be given your opinion as well, which makes it complicated. The last one is actually also asking you to talk about 2 sides as well. So they are the 5 question types. We'll just quickly go over back again so you can see them. So we've got these cause and effect type questions, and then we've got argument essays. So they're the kinds of essays that you must be familiar with answering in IELTS. So let's now see what they look like with the topic there as well. So we'll pause here again and you have a look at those questions. Which is which again? See if you can notice quickly there which is which. What type of question are you being asked? So we have cause and effect, cause and solution, and effect and solution down there. And as we continue here, how about these 2? Yes, one-sided there and 2-sided on the other side. Now, it's your turn. We would like you to practice identifying exactly here what you have to write about. So you have a look at these questions and you discuss with your partner, what are you having to discuss? What kind of essay is it here? So we've got A, B is in red, C is in green, and D is in black. So you notice that the topic is the same in all of them, but the question is different. So just have a very quick look and discuss with your partner. That's pretty easy there. Now, let's finish by talking about structure in IELTS Task 2 writing. This is very important as well because you have to think about the paragraphs, and as we continue to talk about Task 2 writing in the videos to follow, we will focus a lot on what's in each paragraph. So you need to be familiar with the types of paragraphs. So first of all, consider the question 1 there. Why are the phrases underlined and why are some sentences underlined? So in terms of structure in the test, you need to be very clear about the paragraphs and what you're going to write before you write. Hopefully you've watched the pre-writing video before, so when we mention step 3, the planning, this connects very closely now to how you're going to write it. And in order to plan well, you need to also understand the structure you're going to use. So in the introduction, if we focus there first, and we look at the question, we can see a connection between the first part of the question and the first sentence in the introduction. The same thing with the second sentence. Now this second sentence is called the thesis statement, and a good thesis statement does 2 things. It directly tells and answers the question, and it tells the reader what is going to happen in the essay. So we see these yellow arrows coming as well, where the sentence describes, and the words in the sentence describe what is going to happen within the essay. And then we move into the first body paragraph. So within the first body paragraph, we're going to see the main reason traditional skills are being lost is the modern lifestyle. So that topic sentence, that's called a topic sentence, is there to tell the reader what's coming within that paragraph. The for example is just telling the reader, okay, now I'm giving you an example. The next sentence, however, there are things that can be done. That's a topic sentence. The word however links back to the previous paragraph where they talked about problems, the problem of the skills being lost. And then there are things with an S that can be done. So we have firstly, and then we have further. So it's connecting and telling the reader what's coming up within those parts of the paragraph. Now finally we have the summary, and in a summary we go backwards now. So we just describe what we've already written about. So we have marketing campaigns, which comes back to that paragraph. National Culture Days, back to there. You could have also mentioned something about why the skills are being lost there, but the main thing was the solutions. That's the bigger paragraph, so that's been the focus in the summary. So that's how you write your structure. Now, by doing the things we've talked about today, when you understand the question and you answer the question, that helps your task response mark. When you get your structure right, which we're discussing here, it's going to help your coherence and cohesion within the test. So think about those things as we go into the subsequent videos and we focus in more detail about the different types of questions you've looked at today.